Season 8 of Diablo 4 is just around the corner, and it brings to us some exciting new features such as a recolored hell tide, a recolored interface to put some new skills into, and a few new bosses and a new boss loot system. However, I would like to speak about something else in this video, something that might seem small when you just look at it. However, I believe it represents perfectly everything that is wrong about Diablo 4's development. Hi, my name is Sliver and this is ControVersial, a series where I share my unpopular opinions about Diablo 4 and where I get roasted by the comments. In this episode, we're going to talk about the removal of the Conduit Shrine and how does this action characterize the development team's approach to making a game. Let's go. In case you're unaware, during the latest developer update stream, they announced that the Conduit Shrine is being removed for the season until they try to balance it. First, you might be asking, what's wrong with this? They're the developers and they should be balancing the game. That's their job. Well, you're right, but they're doing it wrong. People have been rightfully so complaining about the Conduit Shrine turning your character into something else with only one button and not even letting you use your skills. And for something that's supposed to be buffing your character, this is extremely underwhelming because you become less powerful as a result of breaking this shrine. First, they tried to, quote, balance this by making you do increased damage while having the effects of the shrine, but it, unsurprisingly, didn't do very well in the community. So now they're going to remove this shrine for an entire season while they work for a solution. So what is the problem with this? I myself couldn't care less about the Conduit Shrine, but I think this action shows the approach of the development team towards their priorities. What does this mean? They remove an entire gameplay feature from the game for a total of 3 months for balancing purposes, yet at the same time they use half the live stream to show off their paid cosmetics to the game. What are these priorities? Shouldn't the gameplay be the top priority for the developers instead of the useless paid cosmetics, which are already a lot better than the cosmetics that you can get in-game for playing the game instead of paying money? Shouldn't the developers first focus on something that revolves around all players instead of just the subset of players who spend money on cosmetics? And this is not only about the Conduit Shrine. You can find this misprioritization in multiple parts of the game. First of all, why do we have a different colored hell tide every season? Why do we have very similar new skills in every season instead of something new and innovative? Why do we have the roadmap that was just released for Diablo 4 contain an earnable pet as a main feature for every season? Shouldn't it have something meaningful, something actually new? I feel like that the developers are so caught up with making money instead of making a good game that they're killing the game in the process. Oh, but then I already know what the commenters will say. Sliver, it's the artists and animators who create these new cosmetics. The developers, the actual developers, have nothing to do with this. Well, first of all, cosmetics could be earnable during the gameplay instead of paying for the best cosmetics. And second of all, well, then maybe you can fire some animators and artists and hire some developers. And then this way the game could get better, don't you think? If you've got so many animators and artists just doing these paid cosmetics, then maybe you can reduce their number and increase the number of actual developers that would help get the game better. Anyway, this concludes today's episode of ControVersial. Please let me know in the comments why you don't agree with my opinion on this matter, and see you guys next time. Thanks.